Welcome to another video. Before I begin my playthrough, here's a list of mods that I'm going to be using for this playthrough. After spending enough time designing my character, I decided to name him the Black Swordsman. If you get it, you get it. Next, I made a large expert world and named it Moron's Hideout because I can't think of any other good names. And here we go. I opened my world and I was blessed with tall trees, a very rare occurrence. As any player does, I proceed to open my starter bag and activate everything that needed to be activated. For this playthrough, I am going to be playing Death Mode. Why, you may ask? Because I like difficulty and this will surely make me scream. In rage, I promise. I proceed to chop down my first trees and kill my first slime. I then decided to start exploring my surrounding area. I came to realize that I am very underpowered in the early game, therefore the topaz staff will probably be the best to help me out. And of course, the desert had to be near spawn. It's my least favorite biome, sorry not sorry. Once I got absolutely harassed by a desert enemy, I decided to head back and start building a house. Once I gathered resources, I went to build a house because it was my first time playing Death Mode and I truly didn't know what to expect. Now is a good time to mention that I added the Smart Doors mod, which is a mod that automatically opens doors for you instead of you having to do it manually. That was the day that I discovered zombies can jump really high and it kind of scared me, so I spent the rest of the night inside the house. The following morning, I went caving with a brave mindset due to the lack of the information I had on the Death Mode AI. Not too deep underground, I stumbled upon a house where I crossed my fingers that I'd find Hermes boots, but instead I found a boring regen band. Bruh. After exploring for a little bit more, I found another house, and I've actually found something that was useful, a magic mirror. Then out of nowhere, a life crystal? A miracle. The moment I picked it up, I heard the sound of terror, a giant worm. I forgot I was playing Calamity and I was horrified when I saw how long it was. Afterwards, I kept going deeper and would you look at that, the sunken sea. I was totally powerless, so I just explored and took what I could, and ended up finding some life crystals. I returned to the surface when I was shaken by the message I just saw. The blood moon had risen. That can't be good. I immediately blocked off all entrances when I realized that the devs had increased the spawn rate by a ton, and I was terrorized by dozens of monsters waiting to get me. Therefore, I stayed in the house all night, killing whatever I could near my house. The only thing I managed to get was a bouncing eyeball. I then went to expand my house, and that was my first play session. Next things next, I decided to start caving. A little deeper in the cave, I found a shrine and a life crystal. I found a Trinket of Chi, which gives me a buff when I'm standing still for 1 second. This buff increases my damage by 50% and decreases my damage taken by 15%, but when I move, the buff will no longer be active. Unfortunately, I had to cut this short because I had to go somewhere, so part 3 is merged in with this one. I continued deeper into this cavern and stumbled upon the worst place in Terraria, the underground snow biome. However, I managed to find another life crystal. When I entered the biome, ice slimes wouldn't stop spawning. Just have a look at this for yourself. After that, I found a house with an item that would carry me for quite a while, the ice blade. And right next to that house, I discovered an ice boomerang, which will be saved for later if the weapon that can be crafted using the boomerang isn't a rogue weapon. And then, I found the item that I wanted most, flurry boots. They are a flex because they are a literal drip compared to the virgin Hermes boots. Same applies to the ice mirror. At the end of this one, I found a bizarre yet interesting structure. I believe it is called a biolab. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. What in the world is that? Well, these things are heavily guarded structures that have some good loot and from my understanding are important later on in the game, but we have to wait until I get there. I was too underpowered, so I didn't really bother with it yet. In another house, I found a blizzard in a bottle, which is also an item that carries, because it's too good. Screw the cloud in the bottle. In case you didn't know, Calamity's Rage mode is overpowered and really good, as you'll see below. It increases your damage and allows players to deal with hordes of enemies a lot easier. And then, as everything seemed to be going great, the worst happened. I decided to head towards the jungle because the jungle has a lot of loot. It may sound like a bad idea with 180 HP and wooden armor, but watch me, I'm too good at this game. Before actually going into the jungle cavern, I organized my loot inside my chests and explored both sides of the world in search of the Sulphur Sea. The Sulphur Sea is my favorite biome in Calamity, including the Abyss. I just love oceans, and the background, environment, and wasteland theme just does it for me, even though the lore makes the whole thing a lot different. So the Sulphur Sea ended up generating on the left side of my world, which is nice, I guess. Upon my arrival, I spent some time listening to the theme. I noticed the background is different compared to Calamity's background. I'm guessing it's because of the Catalyst mod. I then proceed to build a platform over this toxic sea and grind a little bit for some tattered cloth. Afterwards, I spent some time on the house, and now the jungle exploration truly begins. I immediately stumbled upon the house and other things as well. I feel that life crystals and houses are a lot more common in the jungle. Perhaps it's because the caverns are huge. Enemies are truly a threat to me because of how weak I was with my armor. However, as I said, the ice blade truly carries. I strive to collect stingers, jungle spores, and vines so I can make a blade of grass, which would be a huge upgrade for me. A few life crystals later and a filled inventory, I actually found the temple.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
The temple is the last thing I find in the jungle in all my other playthroughs, so it's truly a lucky discovery. I guess you could say it was my reward for being so good at the game, especially with such low defense. But then, the unthinkable happened again. I got absolutely bullied. Check it out. Piranhas are some of the most annoying things in the game just because they deal way too much damage, and I'm not even going to start about the anglerfish. Once home, I organized myself and cleared my inventory. Ah, the satisfaction of a clean inventory. Imagine not having an organized inventory. To conclude this session, I crafted a blade of grass, and oh my lord is it overpowered. I was unstoppable. If I combined good armor with that, I would truly become powerful, even for Supreme Calamitous herself.
Stop the cap!
Since I made the blade of grass, I decided I needed an armor improvement, so I went hunting for Wulfrum shards and other resources so I can make the full set. After a rather short journey, I made the armor. To get even more overpowered, I went on a journey to collect life crystals. I began in the underground snow biome, which tends to have a lot of riches, but everyone knows that the life crystals are easiest to find in the jungle, unless I'm wrong about that. And so I headed to the jungle. I found some beehives, which will be useful for the queen bee, as well as multiple granite biomes, which have great tendencies to spawn life crystals. And then, after around 20 minutes, I had 400 HP. I made sure to save everything that I had because they could be used in the future, so I organized my inventory in chests. You may notice that I moved my rage and adrenaline bars, but that doesn't really matter, I just did it for convenience. And to conclude this section, I worked on making my house a lot nicer for my NPCs, cause why not? Now is the time for the fun stuff. I prepared a ton and I have decided to go ahead and start progressing the game by killing bosses. I reached out to the skies in order to find shiny red balloons and loot some planetoids, even finding an enchanted sword. I explored the entire space section from the Sulphur Sea to the other ocean, and in the end I only found one shiny red balloon. At least you can craft them. Straight after that, I started building my arena. Whenever I make one, I make the ground flat and remove all the trees in the area as well as the background wall to give it a cleaner look. To keep the arena balanced and to prevent asymmetrical platforms, I went up to 19 platforms each time and made the arena enormous for what I currently needed. In the end, I added stairs to allow for some good mobility. To conclude the construction of the arena, I placed torches in a way that appeals to the eyes and campfires to regenerate lost HP during battles. For good measure, I've also added some heart lanterns at the edges of the arena so I don't run into blocks while fighting. And now, let the fun begin. The first boss I tackled was the King Slime. Check this battle out. I somehow got myself killed. However, I redeemed myself in the second fight. So it turned out that my Blade of Grass was incredibly strong because I took out the King Slime in a few moments and it left me wondering how I was killed by him. A mod I have installed was Magic Storage, and since I got one of those diamonds, I was able to start the Magic Storage system, which is far better than chests. I definitely suggest using this mod in your next playthroughs. Next boss to tackle was the Desert Scourge. I went to the deserts to get the required material and made the medallion. The arena I used was a simple 2-layer arena that was 19 platforms high with some torches and campfires, similar to my main arena. Now let the fight begin. I was laughing at the end of the battle because the fight was so easy. Therefore, I decided to farm the Scourge for some needed resources such as currency. Once I left the place rich, I held on to the items I needed and sold the rest. Next on the list is the giant clam in the beautiful sunken sea. Finding one wasn't hard at all and killing it was even easier, and woohoo, Amadeus appeared. And with his help, I brought a great weapon for the next boss on my list, the Eye of Cthulhu. Obviously using my Blade of Grass, I demolished his dreaded eyeball. Once I got the Shield of Cthulhu, I continued farming him for more money. Man, I'm greedy. Once the sun appeared on this beautiful land, an acid rain happened over at the Sulphur Sea and I quickly cleared it out. When the blood moon rose, I was scared for a second considering what happened the first time it rose in the world. However, I remembered I was too good at the game and I went farming them to get things like the piggy bank with wings, whatever it's called, or the shark tooth necklace. These monsters were getting destroyed. The Blade of Grass is by far the best item I have crafted in this playthrough. When my rage bar filled up, my blade would pass right through the monsters, killing them at less than 2 hits if not 1 hit. Once the event concluded, I sold a bunch of items and kept what I needed. The traveling merchant arrived and I purchased some accessories that could help me make a cell phone later in the playthrough. There we go again, people. The best parts of Calamity Mod, boss battles. Before moving forward, I realized that many NPCs would move in and that I would need housing space for them, so I expanded my house and made each floor fit 4 NPCs. Afterwards, I went underground in the snow biome to try and explore the different labs each biome has to offer. I was hoping to find diving gear to explore the abyss. While rewatching the video, I noticed there was a spider biome and that the stylist was there but I didn't even notice her. I collected different things, which I don't even know what they do, and left the place. The event I was waiting for has finally happened, the Goblin Army. I needed Tinker so I could make myself a bundle of balloons and upgrade my flurry boots, so this was a big help. Once I defeated the army, I went underground and found the Tinker pretty quickly, and then I started crafting. Now for the next boss battle, Crabulon. I set up a basic arena as shown here so I can have a little bit of mobility, and let's watch the battle take place. Well, I died the first time. And the second time, I killed him, but I got too cocky and died the third time. Honestly, there wasn't anything useful for me from Crabulon, so I sold off most of the items. I then decided to expand my magic storage area. Now, for one of the most annoying bosses in Pre-Hard Mode, the Eater of Worlds. The arena that I set up consisted of long platforms that allowed me to run with 2 layers as well as some torches and campfires. Once I crafted the worm food, the battle began. Unfortunately, I died the first time because it does a lot of damage and shoots many projectiles. This time, I purchased buff from an NPC and went to give it a second try. Though I did split the boss into many different worms, I managed to triumph and take victory. Now, my next upgrade was available, so I started digging a elevator. I continued digging the elevator and making it into a straight line so no enemies could get to me easily. Once I reached the underworld, I started collecting hellstone and the forge to smelt it so I can craft this burning bar as well as the armor set. But then this happened. Once I crafted my armor and weapons, I resumed exploration and even got my hands on a jellyfish necklace, which is pretty rare. I made the Arctic diving gear and I'm sure you can see where this is going. I expanded my shoebox house to gather more NPCs and I upgraded my magic storage at Demon Knight level and then went to tackle another nuisance on my list, the Hive Mind. I mean, the boss was pretty easy, but annoying nonetheless. I snagged some potions and then proceeded to go defeat the Crimson variant for the boss, the Perforators. I dug out some spaces and put platforms and then I let the fight begin. Funny thing is I accidentally summoned the boss and I was more determined to finish the arena instead of fighting the boss, and then I buffed up and demolished the idiot.
Get your ass back here, boy!
Once defeated, I organized my inventory and put many items away for later use. Next, I tackled the Olon's army. As you can see, I lost at 99% and I wasn't too happy about that. I then set up a Skeleton arena and killed them too. Once I briefly searched the dungeon for resources, I came back home with a mechanic, which concludes this section of this video. I began by expanding my arena for the next boss, the Slime God. I was truly worried because I always found that this boss was a little more difficult for me, so I took the time to make sure my arena was big enough and had many healing items. But guess what? I'm going to make you guys wait because I wanted to kill the Queen Bee, but it seems that my skill was not good enough for this AI. Yeah, screw that. Once I got my buffs, I began my battle with the Slime God. Check it out. I built my arena quite well because I was regaining my health really quickly. Fortunately, I left victorious and killed these blobs on my first try. I made the strategical armor set as well as the weapons. Now I was preparing for the final boss of Pre-Hardmode, the Wall of Flesh. I knew that since I was playing Death Mode, this would be a total disaster and that I would have to make the biggest arena known to mankind. Not literally, but I knew I had to make it long. I put some nice music in the background while building the arena in hopes of building quicker. I won't play it because Nintendo is going to get mad at me even though I have less than 100 subscribers. Thanks for all the support, by the way, it means a lot to me. If you're enjoying this video, once again, consider subscribing to my channel. Also, don't worry about the upload gaps, just do it. Once I finished the arena, I went straight into battle with the Wall of Flesh, but it was absolute torture. Have a look at this for yourself. And then, once I learned the AI and by some miracle, I defeated the Wall of Flesh. I was so happy. One thing different that I noticed is that my world was immediately blessed with Cobalt and Palladium, and then I remembered that I need to defeat mech bosses to get access to all the other ores, and that the Pawn Hammer is useless. I didn't get the items I wanted from the Wall of Flesh, but oh well, I'm happy he was defeated. I started exploring some biomes and new enemies, and gathered millions of souls of light and dark using the King Slime exploit. If you made it all the way here, thank you so much for watching. Give me some feedback in the comment section because this is the first time I made a video like this and it took really long to script and edit this. Yes, it was scripted. With that, have a great day.